Hello YouTube, welcome to RV Daydream, and as you can tell, maybe, my voice has gotten to almost its full effect. I got a little cough still, but for the most part, I'm feeling a lot better, so that probably means he's going to talk a lot, right? Well, that didn't stop me before, so yeah, let's talk a lot.
What have you been up to?
I've been riding on a daydream.
So the weather's kind of rainy. We had a little bit of rain come through. There's going to be more later, but it's a warm day. It's about 74, and it's time to start getting caught up on what we've been doing since our last little trip. I've got the window all taped up, duct taped up, and it's been keeping the water out, even the bird crap. Good deal here. I'm not going to be very happy about peeling peeling the Gorilla Tape off, though. It's going to be a disastrous mess. So what's going on with the cap? Let's talk about that first. So the deal with the cap, I'm going to try to put it in a nutshell real quick here. We called the dealer. The dealer said glass breakage wasn't covered as far as he was told. I referred to the manufacturer. The manufacturer customer service rep asked me to bring this to the dealer, have them look at the window. We submitted pictures outside and inside, and they basically agreed, Lear did, to replace it. The bad news is it's going to cost me $50 for labor for them to install a new one. I can do it myself, but it's a big piece of glass. I don't want to be manhandling that, so let the experts do it. So $50, I'll be glad to pay that. And secondly, the worst part about that, 3 weeks. It's about 3 weeks for me to get a new window because they don't have them readily available, apparently. So that's going to be covered. I'm not sure why it broke, and hopefully that's the last time that happens. Maybe it was just a freak thing. I don't know. The other thing that we learned was about our insurance. Our insurance, I tell you what, insurance is just a scam overall. Our old RV, we had full coverage on it. This RV, we have full coverage on it. Of course, the truck, we have full coverage on it. My old truck, I had full coverage on it. When we got this truck, though, and I had this cap installed, Heidi and I decided maybe we should call and find out, is the cap covered? Now, here's the funny part. Even if the RV didn't have any coverage on it whatsoever, if I hook it up to the truck and I start towing it, it's covered because it's connected to a tow vehicle, the truck, that has full coverage. You would think that a cap that's bolted to the truck would have full coverage, but it don't. That's so crazy. So we went ahead and got another policy, a separate policy, and it costs like $17 a month for coverage on the cap. So when she called the insurance company and mentioned, hey, we've got this cap on the policy, we've had this policy for a couple of months now, and the window's damaged, how would we get that fixed? Now, there's a bunch of negatives that were coming out then whenever we started talking about a claim. The first one was that our insurance rates could potentially go up in the next 5 years because that claim would stay as a hit on our policy for the next 5 years. Which, okay, I guess. There's a $500 deductible. Come on now. The whole cap was like $3,500. I can't believe that the deductible would be 1/7 the price of the product that's being insured. However, still $500 deductible. And again, the other thing is that 5-year hit that our insurance rates could go up. Not only that, but they were going to have to send out an investigator or maybe an adjuster, but he was going to do some sort of investigations. Somebody was, he, she, it. And if they determined that they weren't going to cover it, which I don't know what the reason would be, but I'm sure they have their reasons, then at that point, it would still count against our policy for 5 years because we made a claim. Now, how stupid is that? So that's like going to the doctor and saying, hey, I think I'm sick. What do you think? And he says, yeah, you're sick. I can cure you, but it'll cost $2,000. And I say, no, I decided against it. And he says, well, I'm still going to charge you $2,000 for coming in here and seeing me today. I mean, that's crazy. That's just the stupidity that insurance is. So, after 17 years of being with Progressive Insurance, we're going to start shopping heavily because I've learned that loyalty don't mean nothing for these companies at all. And I have no problem looking elsewhere. I'm sure a lot of the other insurance companies are just as bad, and this is probably across the board, everybody. But nonetheless, we've got to just for our own peace of mind, look elsewhere just in case, because that's dumb. That's just dumb stuff right there. Now let's talk about some other stuff. Yard sale crap. We're starting to get it together. You can see Heidi kind of organized over here a little bit. It looks a little bit better than it used to. And Bob from Making Stuff. We got the best viewers. He made this. It's all out of metal. Now, I welded on this chain so we could hang it at our campsite from a hook that we have that we used to hold our lantern. The kerosene lantern, the old white fuel lantern years ago. Anyways, so I went ahead and welded this chain on here, but yeah, he cut this all out of metal, and then we went ahead and shot it with some implement paint. This is Cub Cadet Yellow that's on here. Thanks, Bob. And we're gonna put a link down below for Bob at Making Stuff. Go check out his channel. Tell him Mike and Heidi from RV Daydreams sent you. Good job, Bob. Thank you. So here's something we got for the RV. This is a 50 amp to 15 amp. Now, don't get me wrong, we're not going to run anything crazy inside the RV, but while it's sitting out here, that way I can put away these big plugs, these big cords. I don't have to have them laying out, because I just have an adapter on it anyways. You can see here, my 30 amp that was adapted down from that 50 amp just has a regular 15 amp plug adapter on the end of it. So this will allow me to put an extension cord on the end here, just a regular one, and it'll run, you know, the battery charger, keep the battery topped off, and, you know, whatever else we want to run inside, as long as it's not the rooftop airs or a bunch of stuff. You know, we can't run the microwave and the, you know, hot water tank element and the refrigerator and all that stuff at the same time, but this will allow you to leave it plugged in. And if we go mooch docking at friend's house, you know, this will be all we would need to do, is just plug this in the side of the RV and go ahead and run a regular extension cord. So the link will be down below for this. These run about 25 bucks. Yeah, pretty simple. And it does have a 90 degree, so that's nice. Something else we got for the RV is the hitch covers and jack covers. This is from Pride, and it pretty much supposed to protect these components from rust and rain and water. It's got a couple pieces of Velcro that holds that on. Pretty bulky looking, but it does a good job. It does cover everything. It was a little confusing which side was the top, so I marked it once I got it in place. So all I got to do now is find myself another jack cover. I'd like to have a cover for the jack again. That was always nice to have. All right, so I have some other projects that are still in the works. Some of them have been completed. One of them's been completed for a while, but I haven't posted it. That was a new toilet inside the brand new RV. When the toilet that was in there was brand new, we went ahead and pulled it out and put a elongated bowl, and one that is that I don't know, vitreous, I think that's what it's called, vitreous china. And basically it's a porcelain bowl, and it has a wooden seat, and it's more like a actual household style toilet. It was just nice to put in there, and it was nice on our trip. You know, I was sick. I didn't really want to do the editing or nothing. We didn't bring the laptop for me to do it. That's why we haven't done it yet, but I'll talk about that, and I'll show you what we've done to get it installed. The other thing that I've got to do yet, and we'll shoot video of, so look forward to this. I went ahead and got 2 micro air soft starts for both of the rooftop airs. Now, everything by Pat. Hey, Pat, if you're watching, it was funny whenever I seen you trying to run both your air conditioners with the generator. I thought, that probably won't work. And I was already on the path of getting those 2 for these air conditioners, because then I know that I can run, let me rephrase that, I'm pretty sure I can run both of my rooftop airs with our 30 amp, you know, Champion generator. It'll be interesting to see. We'll try it out. Maybe it won't work. You know what? I could be wrong on this, and now that I think about it, maybe I am wrong. The other thing we were talking about is maybe getting a small portable generator and just leaving that to run maybe just one rooftop air. And those micro air soft starts, we'll talk about those whenever I install them and how they work, but they do a good job. And it was funny because RV Geeks, they actually had the exact same thing going on. They installed those micro airs. I just thought it was kind of funny that, you know, as soon as it gets warm out, everybody was thinking the same thing. You know, let's run our rooftop airs. And the last thing I wanted to catch up with you guys is the Pride Hitch. One thing that I did was follow the instructions to a T on this, and I'm going to change the way that it's mounted as far as the hitch bar here. After talking with Pride, they said that would not be an issue whatsoever to play around with it and do what I needed to do to make it work for myself. And that is every weight distribution hitch I've ever owned prior to this. You know, conventional weight distribution hitch, it says that what you should do is make it to where the top of the coupler for the RV, whenever the trailer is perfectly level, your ball, again talking about a traditional hitch, the ball should be 3/4 to 1 inch taller than the coupler is when the trailer is level. So when you hook up and you back under your RV, you got to lift it up that 3/4 to 1 inch plus the height of the coupler itself, set it down on the ball, and then everything squats. Then you can use your weight distribution bars to level stuff out. The problem that I have now is this is level. I mean, the RV is level, this is level. Whenever I back up right now, I don't have to do anything with that jack. It'll slide right in. So whenever I let the trailer down, the truck squats just a little bit in the back, hardly at all in the front does it uncompress. But it does squat a little bit in the back. And I'll put a little bit of tension on these bars. They're 1,400 pound bars. And when I put a little bit of tension on them to get my squat to where it levels back out again, everything is great. At that point, I know the ride is good and all that. Everything's perfect, except the trailer is still about 3 inches, 2 to 3 inches too low in the front compared to the back. So now what I was doing is actually jacking up the weight distribution bars even more to take more weight off the back end of the truck, and it just wasn't working. It felt good. It was a good ride. It's just I was accomplishing the trailer getting level with the weight distribution bars, even though the truck didn't seem to want to do anymore. It didn't really need anymore. I was just doing it. So what I'm going to do is raise this up to where this is roughly 1 inch taller than the hitch box. Well, I should say this part here actually is 1 inch taller than the hitch box opening. And that way, whenever I slide it in, I'll have to lift the RV to do so just a little bit, slide it in, and then let everything down. At that point, we'll get a little bit of squat from the truck, and I can use the weight distribution bars to level it all out. Oh yeah, let's talk about my son's van. We've been working on it, but we're not going to go into detail on it because I'll be doing that on the other van build series. So what we got going on in here is this was a tower that we used in our old RV for our linens before we built that linen closet. Basically converted the wardrobe closet over to a linen closet, and we told him that we think that would be perfect for in here. And we got to work on some electrical. He still got a lot of yard sale stuff because he went to a flea market. He did a ton of work on the van. Again, we'll talk about this in a future video that's specific for the van series, but he changed all the plugs, the plug wires, cap, rotor, and we also had to replace the alternator at that point because the alternator had a bad plug on it, even though the alternator is relatively new. We also did an idle air control valve. I mean, to replace the hardest part in here was the valve cover gaskets. He did that. We had to pull the upper intake off, and then he replaced all the valve cover gaskets. So the van's in pretty good shape. I replaced the fuel filter the other day, showed him where it was and everything. And then we're going to do an oil change, and this van's getting close to being done where it can travel. Okay guys, so the camera ran out of battery. Must have been kind of low. I don't remember charging it from when we went out camping. So I'm back in the office. That's it. That's all the update. Again, I want you guys to check out the links down below for any of the stuff I talked about if you could. That helps us out. And also go check out Bob at Making Stuff. He's got some really cool projects, and he's always fun to watch. I like some of the stuff that he does. It'd probably be the situation I would be in if I still had a shop that I was working out of. I like making stuff myself. So that's it. And as always, we hope to see you out there. Bye.